All right, let's do a little weather. We're having some weather, and not just around here, although it's a little bit overcast. It generally burns off right away. I think this is just the marine layer from the Pacific Ocean. It comes in and hangs around in the morning, and it makes things really nice and cool, and we have great cool mornings. But I want to talk about something else. Let's see, make sure I have the white screen up. Share screen. Okay. What is this? This is Max Velocity. I've mentioned him before. He's a young guy. He just graduated from college with, I think, a BA degree in meteorology. So he's been doing this YouTube thing for a long time, and I like his stuff. He talks about weather in the U.S. He does definitely a technical analysis. I appreciate that. The scope of his coverage is only the U.S. and only the lower 48. And but it's not a bad place to start. You could do worse than paying attention to his material. And if you live anywhere east of the Rockies, you definitely need to tune into him and make yourself aware of his stuff. But what he's showing here is something that's actually been happening for a while, and he brought attention to it, and he keeps going on about it in his updates. This is showing, what is this showing? This is showing a massive, let me use some tools here, okay? I have a tool. I'm going to use a tool. Different color. Okay, now I have a tool. He's showing, let me show you what's going on here. So this is Maine. This is Florida. This is the Gulf of Mexico. And California is over here. So that's how you're reading this map, all right? Oh, and here's the Canadian border up here, like this. So there's the United States of America, lower 48. And what he is showing here is something that's interesting. So this is a what they call a low pressure center. Low pressure centers in the northern hemisphere rotate counterclockwise, okay? And what this is doing, and remember, this is the Canadian border with the United States, okay? So up here is Canada, down here is the U.S. What this is doing is it's dragging down, and I'm going to make an arrow here. It's dragging down cold air from, well, in his picture here, it looks like Canada. But in fact, it's dragging it down from even further north than that. This is a very big low pressure center. It's really huge. And it's got a lot of power, and it's pulling down a lot of cold air. And so what he's warning people about is that there is a bow of air that's coming into America down through here that is really, really cold, very cold. And he's saying if this was wintertime instead of summer, these would be major winter storms, okay? 10 feet of snow and freezing temperatures in New Orleans and 10 feet of snow everywhere else. So this would be really bad. But of course, it's in late summer, so it's just really cold. Now, I don't really care about this. I live over here. Here's me. So I'm missing this whole thing. But what I am interested in is actually a different view of this same thing. So this map is current as of today. Actually, this one's maybe even looking a little bit into the future. I think it's September 5th. So this is even a future view. But the current view is still the same because this phenomenon has been going on for a long time. This is a different site. This is called Climate Reanalyzer. It shows data, generally current data for a bunch of different things that people like me are really interested in. Oh, I didn't want that. Here we go. You got to be careful with this. If you hover over these things, they change. So you have to be really careful what you hover over. Let me take my tool and let me change the color back to what it was because I'm trying to be consistent. Okay. And I'm going to draw on here the same image. Okay. There's some cold. There's a low. And again, the arrow is pointing this way. It's dragging this air down. Now, at the same time that this is going on, I'm going to change color. You're going to have to get used to this. Do you see this? Do you see this shit going on up here? You see this? He's not even mentioning that. At the same time that this low is pulling cold air out of Canada and dragging it down to the U.S., and really not just Canada, really almost the Arctic, and dragging it down to the U.S. and shocking everyone with how cold it is, something else is happening that's dragging warm air up into Canada. This is how it is, folks. You don't steal air from Canada and drag it into the lower 48 and shock everyone with how cold it is. And then of course, and this is why I have to do this video today. And then, of course, everyone down there in the U.S. South and the Southeast and the Midwest and the upper Midwest, they're all saying, well, where's your climate change now? Where's your global heating now? I'd love to have you some global heating right now. And they're laughing, of course. They're denialists, and they're saying, ha, 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 it's so cold. I guess we're going to have an ice age. So much for global heating. Okay, but what they don't understand is they don't live. People don't live in the United States of America. They think they do. That's propaganda. They live on the planet Earth. Duh. I mean, that's a big duh, right? That's like, well, yeah, I guess. Okay, but that's the key to this. And this is where, when we're over here watching Max, he's doing weather. Or he's doing weather. Even if it's like a 20-state region. It's not your local weather. He's doing 20 states worth of weather. It's still weather, folks. That's all he's talking about. You go over here, and you're looking at something different. This is what we call Earth system dynamics, which I talk about on this channel all the time. And I'm seizing this opportunity because over here we're talking about large-scale regional weather patterns. This is bullshit. I mean, it's happening. It's all true. He's not saying it isn't true. And his technical analysis of this weather pattern is quite good. I mean, he knows what he's doing. He's a young guy. He's fresh out of college. He knows what he's doing. But this is reality. This is physics. This is Earth system dynamics. This is what I am interested in. This is what I look at. I don't give a shit if there's 10 feet of snow in Tennessee. I don't. I mean, okay, fine. I care about people and how they're going to suffer and they're going to drive their car into a ditch. I'm not concerned about them and their car in a ditch. I'm concerned about Earth system dynamics. And what I want you to see here, when we get our head out of this, okay, oh, that's interesting, blah, blah. Oh, by the way, none of this affects me over here, right? Here I am in sunny California. Soon to be sunny. So I shouldn't even care about this, right? Sucks to be these people with all this cold air coming down. Okay, this sucks for everybody. This here, this is the bad news. This is the nightmare scenario. Because when this cold air mass, right here, I'm sorry, using the wrong color now. When this cold air mass slipped down from the Arctic in Canada and fell into the U.S., another air mass slipped up to replace it. Of course it did. This is a system. Everything is linked together. Let me pull something up that I did not. Yin Yang symbol. You see this? This is the Yin Yang symbol. And what's happening with the Yin Yang, and you can get this animated if you want, where it's rotating. One is chasing the other. One is chasing the other. Or if you rather, one is replacing the other. When the black rotates, it becomes white. When the white rotates, it becomes black. One drags the other along behind it. And at the same time, one is being pushed ahead of the other when this is rotating. You don't see that here, except you see half of it. You see half of this over here. Half of it. This is half the picture. Do you see? This is the phenomenon. This is half of the phenomenon. You can almost see it in the drawing. This is the full thing. This is the full replacement cycle. The cold air that's coming down into the U.S. right now, and will continue to do so for a while, is being replaced by hot air from somewhere else. Hot air. Now this, I should say something about this chart. You see over there in the red where it says 2 meter temperature anomaly. Forget the 2 meter temperature. This is about temperature. anomaly means departure from normal. This is not the temperatures. I could go over here and I could get the average temperatures. Why it is not clicking? Oh, because I'm not using the right tool. Why? Go away. There, now I have my pointer back. Okay, so if I were to go to temperatures, you would see that down here in the lower 48, it's still pretty warm. It's in the red, and the yellow, and the orange. Up there in the north, like Greenland, the Arctic Circle, it's in the blues and the purples. Okay? It's cold up there. But we don't really care about the temperature, because even though it's cold up there, it may still be fucking hot for people who are aware of what the temperature should be. And if you're ice, you care what the temperature is, and you can even see some of this. If you take a close look here, you'll see that in Canada there are some really hot temperatures. So this is instrumental temperature. This is the measured temperature. It's hot up here in Canada. Is it supposed to be? I don't know. I don't know anything about Canada. Wow, it's kind of hot here too. This is where all the fires are. Is it supposed to be that temperature? I don't know. I'm not Canadian. I don't live there. But here's the trick. If you want to know if those temperatures are abnormally hot, you come down here and you look at the anomaly, the departure from normal. So you don't have to be a Canadian or an Inuit and go up there and say, it's a warm day today. This graph, this map will show you that, yes, in fact, that temperature in northern Canada up near Alaska, that's hot for them. This is really hot for them. These are some nasty temperatures. Look up here. This is Alaska. They've got a huge temperature anomaly. They're having a heat wave. And look at this shit going on in Canada. Good heavens. This is massive. This is monumental. And then, of course, down here in the lower 48, as Max is pointing out, we have a temperature anomaly also, but it's in the other direction. It's cold. This is a yin-yang. They have traded places. They've traded places. The cold air that should be in Canada is down in the U.S., but that implies that the hot air that should be in the U.S. is now in Canada. This is Earth system dynamics. This is not weather. This is Earth system dynamics. Dynamics means it's changing. This is change. This is system change. Large scale, planetary physics, system dynamics, system change. And this cold down here in the lower 48, okay, yeah, that's funny. Wow, where's my global heating? Okay, your global heating is in fucking Canada where the permafrost is. Now, how is that a problem? Permafrost. Let's see, what is permafrost made out of? Oh, it's made out of frozen soil. And in that frozen soil, there's frozen methane. And in that frozen methane, there's carbon atoms. And what happens when you melt the permafrost? I don't know. I could go look that up on Google, but I'll just tell you. When you melt the permafrost, methane is released into the atmosphere. And methane is a greenhouse gas. And greenhouse gases heat the earth. And methane is, depending who you talk to, anywhere from 25 to 82 times X times more potent of a greenhouse gas than CO2. And there you go. So all the time it's so terribly cold down here in the lower 48. Oh, it's cold. Where's my global heating? Up here, these people are baking. They're a massive heat wave. And there's permafrost up here. And you know where else there's permafrost? There's permafrost in Russia. And look at what's going on in Russia. This is northern Russia. I know the map is upside down. I could click this map and go to a different view. Let me go to a different view. Just remember what's happening. The Arctic Circle is right around here. Okay? So just remember this was happening at or above the Arctic Circle. Let's go to a different map. No. Yes. Okay, so this is Russia. I'm going to have to draw Russia for you because you probably don't know what Russia looks like. This is Russia. Okay. This is Russia. All the way up here to near Alaska and then across. Right? This is Russia. So this is northern Russia right up here. This is northern Russia. This is where the permafrost is. We just saw a picture where there is a massive heat signature temperature anomaly in northern Canada and Alaska. Lo and behold, there's another massive anomalous heat signature in northern Russia. Actually, I may not have drawn that right. Yes, I did. I did draw that right. And here's Canada. Here's this little tiny corner of Canada. This was the heat anomaly we were looking at a moment ago. So there's all this heat that is accumulating in the north, where nobody lives, and where max velocity doesn't even care what's going on. There are no Minnesota farmers up here. There, and not even he doesn't even care. He's a meteorologist. I'm not being mean to the guy. Okay, I'm not saying that he's dumb. Say, here's a different view. This is probably the better view. Oh, that's Antarctic. Here's the better view. No, that's the Arctic. That's not a bad view, though. We'll look at this one. This is where we started. So here's a massive heat anomaly here. There's another one in Greenland. This is not supposed to be here, people. That is not, you don't want to see that. You don't ever want to see that. And there's this one in Canada. And this right here, they actually put an X for you. That's the North Pole. So this is, you do not want to see this. No, this is the end of the world. Oh, by the way, they're having a massive heat anomaly in Europe. Not good. Not good at all, people. Oh, look at this shit going on up here. This is even north of Maine. This is what, Nova Scotia? What is going on here? Why is it so hot? And then we have some cold down here. And they're going to talk about the cold. And they're going to say, oh, it's cold. Where's my global heating? Your global heating is up in the north, melting all the goddamn permafrost. That's where your global heating is. It doesn't matter what the temperature is in Tennessee. No one gives a fuck what the temperature is in Tennessee. I never give a fuck what the temperature is in Tennessee. There's no permafrost in Tennessee. There's no ice in Tennessee. There's no glaciers in Tennessee. Why do we care what the temperature is in Tennessee? Yeah, I'll go over here and I'll hear all about the cold in Tennessee. And it's going to be cold. It's going to be funny. And they're going to laugh. And where's my global heating? Okay? No fucks given from here. This is what we care about. This shit right here. This. Let me start over. This bullshit. This is the shit right here. That is the shit. That's the bullshit. That's the global heating. This is part of Earth system dynamics. Not weather. Not climate. Not talking about climate. Talking about Earth system physics. The north of the planet right now is baking. It is an oven. It's melting all the ice. It's melting all the permafrost. It's all going to be released. All that methane, all that nitrous oxides, all that CO2 is going to be emitted into the atmosphere, and it becomes part of the permanent component of the Earth's atmosphere. And every year we get hotter. This is my beef with meteorologists. Even Max, and I like the guy. Okay, I keep saying that. It's true. I like the guy. I like his product. But he's a meteorologist. He has to tell people what the weather's going to be. And so he focuses on the weather. And here's the weather. Here's some weather for you, right? Here's some weather. It's going to be cold. It's going to be icy. It's going to be terrible. You know, weather. Meanwhile, we got this bullshit going on. That's all I really have to say. This is where you get your ice melt. This is where you get the collapse of the Greenland ice sheet. This part here, this is Greenland. Right now it's a little teensy bit cold up here. But see this here? This is a teensy bit warm. And all this coastal area is a teensy bit warm. That's melting ice. Probably. Could. They should be, in the winter, they get snow on Greenland. In the summer, they do not get rain, like you might expect. If they get rain is the enemy of ice. Oh my God, you can melt so much ice with rain. Ermagerd. If it rains on Greenland, that should be a global emergency. It's raining in Greenland, Ermagerd. And they didn't have rain in Greenland. I mean, never. Until about, 5 years ago? I could look it up. When was the first time it rained on Greenland? We have instruments up there, and there's actually, I think, a camp. I don't know if it's a year-round camp. Maybe it's a summer camp. But they have a camp up there on the highest part of Greenland, and they monitor that shit. They are watching, and they have they're collecting data. And, we collect data with satellites, too. But they're up there. They're actually doing the work. And it rained on them. It rained on them for the first time. And they were like, what is this? Have I seen this before? Is this rain? And they were completely gobsmacked. It rained on Greenland at like, what, 8,000 feet of elevation, and there's nothing but ice in all directions. And the ice sheet is 2 miles thick. And it rained. It rained on Greenland. Nobody cares about the weather in Greenland. You need to know about the weather in Greenland. You need to care a lot about the weather in Greenland. And you need to care about this, what are we going to call this? This circle of bullshit? What is this temperature anomaly? Just close to the North Pole. Earth system dynamics. Atmospheric physics. Not the weather. And I don't care about what's happening down here. I don't care about that. It's happening. It's true. But I don't care about it. All the cold that's down here was supposed to be up here. And it isn't. It moved. The Earth system is dynamic. The Earth system changes. And the changes we're seeing are not healthy. They are not good. They are all headed in the wrong direction. Wrong. Everything's wrong. It's all wrong. It's all driven by global heating, 100% of it, all of it, including this little thing down here. You know, this little thing down here that they got going on. Oh, yeah, so it's really cold. It's really cold in the lower U.S. 48 states. Oh, it's really cold. Where's my global heating? This situation is caused by global heating. That air mass shouldn't be there. It's not supposed to be there. Do I have to show you the jet stream? I didn't want to get into that, but I will look at it. We'll look at the jet stream. Here's the jet stream. What's the best picture? I guess this is the best picture. 250, 500, 250, 500. We'll do 500. We'll do 500. I have to get over here. Let me show you what the jet stream is doing. The jet stream is what drives the weather. There's these little loop-de-loops here, and it goes up here, and it goes up above. It goes almost to the North Pole, and then drops way, way down to Florida, and then it goes over here, and it drops way down into Europe, and it goes over here, and it drops way down into Russia, and it goes over here, and it goes over here, and it drops down again. What does that look like to you? That looks like a big blob, doesn't it? That's a big, uneven, lobed blob, and the key to being a blob is this is above the blob. This is on the Arctic side of the blob. It's all cold air. And this cold air came down because of the blob nature of the jet stream. I don't know. You'd have to go back in time to find a different picture of the jet stream, but the jet stream should be looking more like this. That should be the jet stream. No blob. But instead, we end up with... Oh, now I messed it up. Okay. Go back to my jet stream, go back to my drawing crayon, and we got blob, okay? Blob. It's all the blob. We're blobbed. We are blobbed, okay? And the blob is what brought this heat down. And would you look over here? Look what's happening. Look at this blob. See, blobs, it's like the yin-yang. Okay, I could even draw the yin-yang here. Should I do it? Should I do it? Let me draw the yin-yang. Oh, you're going to love this. Let me draw the yin-yang. Here it is. So there's part of it down here, and there's part of it up here, and this part, what used to be up here, went down here, and what used to be down here went up there, and that's what happened. That's the yin-yang. It's all blobs, okay? There's this blob here that came down from the Arctic, and there's this blob here that came up from the United States. And there's two blobs, and this blob doesn't need to be here, and this blob doesn't want to be here. These are blobs that are out of place, and they are dragged into position by the blobbiness of the jet stream. The jet stream is a blob. It's gone blob on us. And because it's blobby, we get blobs. I don't know how else to say this. The blobbiness of the jet stream is making blobs. There are cold blobs, and there are warm blobs. Just like in the yin-yang symbol, okay? Blobs. And one blob is chasing the other. Each blob is chasing the other. The cold air mass blobbed its way into the lower 48, and the warm air mass blobbed its way into the Arctic Circle. And why is the jet stream like this? Because of global heating. And that's a conversation for another time. You can look up the work of Jennifer Francis, she introduced this about 20 years ago. And when she introduced the idea of blobbiness in the jet stream causing these massive anomalies, people in the climate community said, oh, Jennifer, first of all, you're a statistician. You're not a climate scientist. So swim in your own lane. And second, you're a woman. You don't know anything. And third, that can't be right. And I thought they were assholes. I was like, of course she's right. Oh my God, of course she's figured it out. Yes, she's a woman. She's a statistician. She's not a climate scientist. She doesn't have a PhD in climate. She doesn't have a grant in climate. But it doesn't matter. She figured it out. She understands blobbiness. And she found the blobs and she pointed them out. And then people said, nah, it can't be blobs. Well, 3 years later, they're like, oh man, it's all about the blobs. So yeah, she gets a point. Good going, girl. And so now we have blobs. And our weather, if you're looking at this, I'm sorry, I have to get rid of that now. That's ugly. If you're looking at this, you're seeing weather. And Max will talk all about the weather. And it's going to be cold. But he's not going to talk about the blobs. Because he's a meteorologist. Not his fault. They didn't teach him blobbiness. They didn't teach him about the jet stream. They didn't teach him anything about this shit. This is Earth system dynamics. This is atmospheric physics. They didn't teach him physics at all. They taught him weather. How to read this chart. What these little feathery things mean. What do these colors mean? He knows all about the colors, and he knows all about the lows and the highs and the winds and the patterns and the directions and the whatever. He doesn't know anything about this. Okay, he might, actually. For all I know, they are teaching that. But when he comes over here, and he's talking to his brethren, he's from Florida. When he talks to his brethren in the Southeast and the Midwest and the Upper Midwest, and he can't talk about Earth system dynamics, because then he's going to have to talk about global heating, because that's what makes this happen. And so he can't do that. He can't talk Earth system dynamics because he has to talk about global heating. And these people, they'll cut his head off. They'll unsubscribe his channel. You should look in the comments once in a while. I used to go in there and comment every so often just to give people the razzmatazz. I don't bother with it too much anymore. I'm too busy. But if you go in his comments, well, first of all, there's a lot of prayer. Pray for the people who are going to get the thing. And okay, that I try to overlook that. and then there's a lot of, well, it's just like that. It can get cold sometimes, and sometimes it can get hot. And all these armchair meteorologists who think they've got 100 years of data at their fingertips don't. All they have is whatever their 40 years of life on the planet, 20 of which they didn't know what weather was, so they got 20 years of personal data, and they think now they're climatologists, least of all Earth system dynamicists. And so because they've got 20 years of watching the weather outside their front porch, now they think they know something. Well, they don't know jack, okay? They don't know this. This is the real story, people. This is the shit, okay? And I don't even want to look at that. I want to look at this. Oh boy. Oh my God. Well, this goes on all the time. All the time right now. Oh man. Look at a couple of others. Yeah, this is northern Russia. Hot. It's hot. Anomalously hot, okay? Above average. And I want you to look at this. This is Antarctica. This is the South Pole. Let me draw an X. South Pole, right there. The anti-Santa Claus lives down there. Now, what do you see here? Oh, I see big purple blobs. Oh, that's that. Those are all in the water. Oh, and then I see all these rust colors and all these temperature anomalies. And what do these mean? Yeah, some of these temperature anomalies are 18 degrees centigrade above normal. That's like 50 degrees Fahrenheit above normal. And this is their winter in Antarctica. Right now, winter. Okay, the other side of the planet, right? Think about it. Our summer, their winter. This is winter in Antarctica, and they're having temperature anomalies. Now, these are not instrumented temperatures. I'd have to go to, get rid of my tool. I'd have to go to this. This is the temperature, the instrumental temperature, thermometer temperature in Antarctica. It's cold. It's colder than hell, okay? You wouldn't want to be down there. You die instantly. I don't care what you're wearing. You die instantly. You could even be inside of a structure and you'd probably die instantly. But it's abnormally warm in places. In most places in Antarctica, it's abnormally warm. Even though this shit will kill you, It's abnormally warm. Temperature anomaly. What is going on down there? Well, it's the same thing that's going on everywhere. 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 Anomalous heat. You see a lot more anomalous heat everywhere than you see anomalous cold. There's a little bit in the Arctic. This is all in the water, by the way. This anomalous cold is in the water. Yeah, there's something interesting going on there with the oceans. Ocean circulation. Oh, yeah. Not good news. Not good news at all. But you see a lot more of this rust red anomalous heat. You see a lot more of that on the planet. You see a lot more of that going on than you see any of this dark blue or light blue. Temperature anomalies. It's getting hot, folks. It's getting hot. This is the big picture. Earth system. System. Earth system. The whole system. Not this shit. This is interesting. He does a good job. That's not the shit. This is the shit. This is what's going on. I don't even know what that is. We'll never know what that is. We'll never know what's going on down there. They'll never tell you. They'll never figure it out. We know what this is. This is global heating. Anyway, I got other things to do. I haven't even eaten breakfast yet. I just had to do this because I've been wanting to do it for days. And he was still talking about this. So if he's still talking about that, then it's not too late to do this. All right. Here you go. Read 'em and weep, people. This is the nightmare scenario. Man, you did not want to see any of that. You did not want to see any of that. That is the bad news. You did not want to see that. Earth system dynamics. Weather is not climate. Climate is not Earth system dynamics. Earth system dynamics is physics. And that's where you find the global heating in the physics. Like and subscribe. My book is out. It's available on Amazon, direct publishing, printing on demand. And there's an ebook. If you have an ebook reader, or you can download one onto your phone or your laptop, you still have to buy the ebook, but the readers are free if you don't mind reading on a screen. And then there's a paperback and a hardcover edition also available, priced accordingly. And I don't know how quick they ship them. They print them on demand, so they probably print them within a day or two, and then they ship them within a day or two. So help yourself. And also, in addition to supporting my literary work, you can buy me a coffee. Also, a link in the description. So please do. But definitely buy the book. Buy the book, give it away. Buy the book, read the book, give it away. Please do. I would be thrilled if each book was read by 10 people. Okay? I'd be tickled pink. I'd be tickled pink. So definitely buy the book, read the book, and give the book away. Buy multiple copies, give them to all your MAGA friends. Make sure they know the difference between weather and climate and Earth system physics. Because pretty soon we're all going to be Earth system physics babies, okay? All right. Have a good day. And my best advice is don't die.